Hey there. Well, today I'm going to mix up some bonsai muck for some of the slab plantings that I've been doing. It's good to have muck to basically hold the sides. I've been looking on the internet for different recipes of muck, and a lot of them ask you to get clay, and I'm not, not that we don't have access to clay, however, I just found it a bit heavy in nature. So I found one that was a mixture of cow manure, so normally they ask for cow manure or a horse manure of some description, some peat moss, and either a clay or some other binding ingredient. So this one is a combination of cow manure, peat moss and sphagnum moss. So with the sphagnum moss we cut it up into smaller pieces. The peat moss is already in a peat form, and the cow manure I just buy from Bunnings, just in the bag. Now you can, if you've got access to cow manure, then that's great. But the cow manure that I get from Bunnings is really, it's a nice fine grade already, and I just keep it in this bucket, keep it sealed. Peat moss, just buying a bag of it there. I'll probably use about maybe half of that. And the sphagnum moss, this was a 150 gram net bag. I used half of that last time I made up some. From what I can remember, it's equal quantities of the cow manure and the peat moss, and then you're adding in the sphagnum moss. And the sphagnum moss, in a sense, is it's the stuff that strings out and binds it together. However, we do cut that up, and then you're just mixing it with water until you get this really nice consistency where it'll hold its shape, but it's not like a mush. So it's more so the consistency rather than the exact measurements of it. So I'll put that together and I'll show you I guess what that looks like. Okay, so got a bit of a mix here. We've got the sphagnum moss, which I've cut up. We've got the peat moss, which is there, and then we've got, you can see the darker tones of the cow manure. So I'm just going to mix that together, and then add some water to it, and then it's just about getting the consistency right. I'll let you know what I've added into it as I'm moving, and then hopefully come up with some type of formula at the end. Okay. Important to wear gloves. So I've mixed it up, put some water in, and really it's just about getting that consistency. So you can see that, once we get that, it'll hold some of its form, and you can squeeze the water out of it, and that's fine. It's perfect, exactly what you want, because that's really just going to, in a sense, just hold the sides. And we're going to mix that up with rock and push it into little crevices and stuff like that, and ultimately we're just going to use it to create a bit of a retaining wall for soil, because the slabs themselves, and this is a slab that we're going to plant upon, I've already got some soil on there, but in these areas here we'll need to mound that up probably to about this high, and we'll have some rocks in here and everything like that too. So yeah, so that's the muck. I'll put some, I think I added 2 more handfuls of the cow manure to it, so it looks like it's it was 5 handfuls of cow manure to 3 handfuls of peat moss to 1 handful of sphagnum moss, and the sphagnum moss itself just needs to be cut up. It's a good binding agent. The peat moss takes a lot of water, and when we're watering it, it's important that we keep it watered, because otherwise it'll dry out, and if it dries out then it starts to crack, and then it can then fall away. Yeah, so I hope that has been helpful for you. Yeah, and I'm just about to do a couple of videos on rock slab plantings, and we'll be using the muck for that. All right. Thanks everyone. See you later. Bye bye.